MCI proof positive takes us to the newly grassed Kauffman Field. Kevin Apier against Cal Ripken with a full count. Where was that pitch? Cal is called out by replacement ump Jeff Hendricks. That was low. That was Cal Ripken. Apier hasn't given up a hit. Back to you, Chris.
I think Cal thought it was low, Chris.
You know what? What a surprise. Cal Ripken started today for the Orioles.
Yeah, probably play whole game, you think?
Yeah, we'll probably play a lot of them this year. Here's Jimmy Key's line, and of course with Clark on first, the run column we'll have to see about. 5 innings plus, 7 hits, 3 of them here in the 6th inning. 3 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. And as you mentioned, having a chance to up his opening day record, both with Toronto and the Yankees combined, to 6-0. But very quickly, game was 5-1. Now it's 5-3. Mickey Tettleton represents the tying run at the plate. He turns around, being the switch hitter, to face that lefty against the right-handed relief pitcher Bob Wickman, who's done it both as a starter and a reliever here for Buck Showalter.
And he's very effective in these situations.
Here's what you 54 hits allowed in 70 innings pitched last year. That's a heck of a number.
He's got that great sinker ball, and he added a 4-seam fastball to his mix last year, and it really gave him another look, particularly against these left-handers. He can run that ball in on the hands of the left-handed hitters. Sinker ball.
Well, there it is. Kelly, Fernandez, Mattingly, and very quickly Wickman comes in. A sinker ball, and Clark and Tettleton are erased.
Well, you bring Wickman in to get the ground ball, and then you turn it over to the sure hands of Kelly and Fernandez. Quick work of Mickey Tettleton. Good movement on that sinking fastball. Look at the toss from Kelly. Fernandez dances out of the way and makes a strong throw to Mattingly. Easy double play, and all of a sudden the Rangers are one out from getting out of this inning.
So Tettleton 0 for 3. It'll bring up Pudge Rodriguez, who doubled off Key in the 2nd inning, flew out to right in the 4th inning. Pudge last season, close to a 300 season.
Fastball 91 miles an hour with movement.
Rodriguez lofts one to right. Tartable is there, so after 3 hits, make Jimmy Key yanked by Buck Showalter. Bob Wickman comes in, faces 2 batters, gets 3 outs. Called economics. We'll be back. We're back at Yankee Stadium. Chris Berman, Buck Martinez, and Buck Showalter as Showalter's Yankees lead the Rangers 5-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. And just as you kind of got the Rangers scouting report together, here's the Yankees. And again, we've already seen it in just the first game.
Well, a rotation. Jimmy Key with a very strong outing, first outing of the year. The bullpen, Bob Wickman comes in, faces 2 batters, gets 3 outs. The offense, Danny Tartable with a home run. The defense, Fernandez at short, working with Pat Kelly to turn to double play. The bench and the manager. Weakness, speed, but we'll overlook that. This club is for real. They've got all of the elements in place. John Wetteland, who we may see later on in this ball game, along with newcomer Jack McDowell and Tony Fernandez. And this was a very good club last year. You know, you think about the possibility of complacency. It's not going to happen with Don Mattingly on this ball club.
No.
He is not going to allow anybody to think that they can just toss their gloves onto the field and win this championship and go to the World Series. Guys like Boggs, Mattingly, Key are going to set the tone and push this ball club all year long.
Oh, as will McDowell very quickly. He's the same sort of guy. Bernie Williams decided to dance away from it. 7-8-9 now up in the bottom of the 6th against Terry Burrows. Bernie Williams, Tony Fernandez, and Pat Kelly. And you see now, like you mentioned, the bullpen, Wickman and Howe and then Wetteland, which we may see exactly the way it's supposed to play out. Bernie Williams plays this one back to left. Back it goes. Back, gone! Striding Bernie Williams, the 2nd Yankee home run of the afternoon. And New York has regained a 3-run lead, 6-3.
Well, this is Bernie Williams' ball club, the Texas Rangers. He hit 5 home runs and drove in 14 last year against Texas. He jumps on a pitch out over the plate. Much better hitter from the right side, and he delivers a solo home run here to start the 6th inning. Take a look at this swing. 366 average from the right side last year. That ball was out away from him. He really turns that top hand over and hits it into the seats in left field.
Tony Fernandez now up. The Yankees get a leadoff homer in the 2nd from Tartable. A leadoff homer here in the 6th from Bernie Williams. A pair of outfielders hitting a pair of leadoff home runs. So we've seen power. We've seen some scrappy ball. This one will fly over Rusty Greer's head and bound off the wall. Fernandez into second base, takes the turn, and with the throw coming in, will hold at second. So back-to-back extra base hits here by the Yankees, answering Texas's 2 spot at the top of the 6th.
Well, Fernandez, a switch hitter, much like same as Bernie Williams, has got a lot of pop from the right side. He drove that ball up the alley in right center. We've talked about it all game long. The balance in this lineup is incredible.
Well, there's Tartable and Bernie Williams, the home run gang for the Yankees. Tony Fernandez, nice Yankee debut for him. 2 hits, been above double plays. And now he's aboard for Pat Kelly, who bunts beautifully down the right field side. He could get aboard. He does get aboard. Some indecision between Clark and Burrows. And Kelly with the good wheels. It was apparent to Will Clark right away that we're not going to get him.
Well, Burrows saw Kelly shorten up and thought he was going to bunt it toward third base. So he took his initial step toward third. Watch his reaction. Kelly shortens up the bunt. Burrows breaks toward third. Kelly pushes it down the first base line. Clark's the only one that can make a play on it. He says no chance at all. Once the pitcher went the wrong way, they didn't have a shot at it.
So runners on the corners for Wade Boggs. Boggs is 1 for 2 in an RBI. Fernandez at third. Kelly at first. Kelly's been aboard all 3 times with 3 singles. Terry Burrows from McNeese State. Grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Last couple of years in the AAA Oklahoma City. Gil to Clark, and they turn the 2 as Fernandez scores. So no RBI in the double play, but Boggs' ground ball gets 2 outs, but Fernandez scores, and now that's a 7-3 lead. Again, opening the unveiling, regular season unveiling of Coors Field. Beautiful stadium out of downtown Denver, as the Rockies in a game to be seen in Colorado, by the way, here on ESPN. Among most everywhere else, they'll host the Mets. Some of you will see Oakland at Toronto. And then at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 on the Hotel California swing, the Astros and the Padres from the Murph, the home of the AFC champions San Diego Chargers.
Could be a promising season for the Padres.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, and not that USA Today's the only paper, but you saw like 5 people make picks of all the divisions. Every team in that division has a chance to win the NL West, honestly. There's a base knock by Jim Leyritz. So after the double play ball, the Yankees get going again with their 4th hit of the inning. But some have picked the Giants, some have picked the Dodgers, some have picked the Padres, some have picked the Rockies.
Yeah, that division's really up in the air. The Padres, of course, all those acquisitions when they had that 11-player deal with the Houston Astros. Padres got a pretty good pitching staff.
Yes.
Andy Bennis goes today.
There's a shot by O'Neill up the middle, and Leyritz will round second on the slow roller and head to third. So runners at the corners again for the Yankees. But they see Texas get it too, and they turn on their own jets. Just going to say both Western divisions are wide open. Although this is not the kind of wide open that Jerry Narron and the Texas Rangers brain trust had in mind. Burroughs had looked good as their third pitcher, but Howe is getting cuffed around quite a bit here in the sixth. And Narron makes the slow walk out. And probably make the call to Matt Whiteside, who's warming up in the Texas bullpen. There's Whiteside, who throws hard. At times can look very good. At times cannot. We'll be back here with a pitching change at Yankee Stadium. Shirts off and jackets in a moment. Bucks family here. This is a great look. I mean, the jacket, the tie. Try to match those checks and stripes.
That's the best seat I could get for my uncle.
Boy, that uncle said he really likes it out here. Well, the fans are having a good time. And isn't that what baseball is all about? I mean, just have a good time. Root for whatever team you want. Root for the home team. Have a hot dog. Be a cut-up. Matt Whiteside is the fourth Texas pitcher. Control off at times last year, but they've had some hopes for him. He just hasn't quite lived up to it yet.
Just needs to be a little more consistent. Got a good fastball. He has made some adjustments with his slider under the guidance of Dick Bosman, the first-year pitching coach here. So this is the guy they need to pitch very effectively in the middle.
Yes, they do. Runners at the corners. There are 2 outs, and Danny Tartabull, who homered in the second inning, is up. Tartabull is still perfect on the day, has homered and walked twice. Mattingly is now the only Yankee starter without a hit, as the Yankees have posted 12 base hits to the Rangers 7. The Yankees lead it 7-3. Broken batter that Fry handles and steps on second to force out O'Neill, and Whiteside comes in and does the job. We played 6 in the Bronx. 7-3. And we are back at Yankee Stadium as 7th inning stretch time. If you're a Rangers fan, and of course there are many New York Rangers fans here, but Texas Rangers fans, not that many on opening day. Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez, and so glad you could be with us here on ESPN as baseball is back. Admittedly several weeks late. But here we are. We've seen power from the Yankees. We've seen some good defense. We've seen some opportunistic hitting.
Yeah,
we've seen there are some.
They've got the whole package. They've got balance in their lineup. Tony Fernandez in his debut with the Yankees with 2 hits, including a double last time up. Jimmy Key with 5-inning performance, and then he turned it over to the bullpen. Bob Wickman came on and got 3 outs as he faced 2 batters. Got a good double play to get out of a tough situation.
So Dean Palmer will lead it off. And he's plunked. Hit by pitch. Trying to shake it off and trot down to first base.
This is that 4-seam fastball that Wickman will throw from time to time, and looked like it caught him on the left hand. Trailed in on him.
So the trainer out to take a look at Palmer. How they hit there a year or 2 ago. Break something.
Like it might have pinched the fatty part of his hand. Looks like it catches some of the knob of the bat.
Oh, we have our, now we're not going to show it to you either. We have our first fan on the field who just took a headfirst dive into second base. And now will be wrestled off by security. Let's quickly go to studio with Gary Miller.
Chris, MCI proof positive takes us to Riverfront, the traditional opener. The Reds and the Cubs bases loaded. Jose Rio on a spot, and Steve Buechele makes him pay. Singles in a run. They've added another run and a bases loaded walk and a sac fly. Cubs up 4-0 in the 6th.
Gary, we're back at Yankee Stadium, 7-3. The Yankees leading it in the 7th inning as Dean Palmer is aboard to lead off, and Rusty Greer is now up. And joining us, a man who we've seen on camera a few times, and certainly Yankee Stadium in the modern era. This was in many ways your house. Reggie Jackson is with us, Buck, and Reggie, good to see you. Happy opening day to you.
Many ways, maybe my house, but I was just with a guy that put things in perspective for me.
Yes. I thought so.
We saw Joe D, yeah.
Lee remembers when the configurations were slightly different.
Oh, my goodness. 457 feet to left center when Joe D played here.
What does opening day mean to you? I mean, do you think, did you have a special feeling just coming in the park today, Reg?
Yes, I did. Not as much when I played, though, Chris and Buck. You know, that feeling of butterflies, of excitement, of getting your spikes in the grass, and just seeing the huge crowd certainly made a difference from spring training.
Ball hit out to the outfield gap, cut off nicely by Paul O'Neill, but the Rangers have something going with Palmer up to third, and Rusty Greer is in with a double. So the Rangers, as they did in the 6th inning when they played it a couple to get back close, Yankees then scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th to regain their 4-run lead. But here's the pitch, Buck, and Rusty Greer is his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
Well, you can see that sinking fastball stayed over the heart of the plate, and he goes the opposite way and drives it up the alley in left center. Good job by O'Neill to cut it off and keep it from going all the way to the wall. Greer has a double, and once again, the Yankees start out the inning with 2 base hits.
Be a pinch hitter against the right-handed reliever Wickman will be Mark McLemore, who really is a good pickup for the Rangers. Had some nice years with the Orioles and does a nice job right here. Hits it into right field. 1 run is in. Here comes a throw from Tartabull. It's up the line and 2 runs are in. So the scrappy Rangers have cut it to 2. It's now a 7-5 game. So as they did in the 6th inning when they started with 3 base hits, they have 3 base runners to start the 7th inning and to hold the phone here. I mean, it's early on, and I think that even though Key looked good, pitching is not going to be what you expect when usually it comes north when it's the hitters that struggle. I mean, you agree with that, Reg?
I would agree with that, and I'm sure you do, Buck. You take Billy Connors going in the mound right now, but the pitchers are the guys that have really had the short time. You get to the point this time in spring training when pitchers would be going 6, 7 innings. They have those 6, 7 starts, but they have not had that much time. So the pitching is going to be somewhat thin, not quite ready. That's why they've allowed the extra 3 pitchers, 2 to 3 pitchers on each pitching staff.
Well, Reggie, you know, as a hitter, you can take extra BP and get a lot of work in a particular day, but pitchers can't throw twice a day. They've got to have their rest in between.
Exactly. They have to have the time, so the short time is going to affect them the most.
Reggie, will there be a lot of pressure here with the Yankees this season now with all the buildup, expecting them to get it? You know about this in this park, and you know where the pressure comes from, not only the fans.
Can I say that's a question that you already know the answer to?
Well, can it compare to the pressure that you all felt in the late 70s during that time?
I think it's very similar. The pressure will fall on that man right there. Manager of the year last year, 70-43. But it doesn't matter now. We have put together a better ball club. Jack McDowell is here. We have probably, or at least one of the best short men in the game, picking up John Wetteland, and we have a very experienced shortstop now. So we're 3 players better. Our payroll is even that much bigger. So the demand to win and win now is absolutely upon us. We have an owner that demands winning, and we have a city that demands winning. So there is certainly pressure that comes with playing in New York. And when you go to sign a player, Chris, you know, John, Buck, when you're here in New York, he has to have special character and personality to be able to deal with the city. McDowell has it. We believe Fernandez has it. We believe he has something to prove because he did not have good years with the Mets. And we believe Wetteland also has the kind of character that'll work here.
Well, we believe you had it.
Have to be a little crazy.
A little slow roller by by Gil. Is played over to first base by Wickman. But McLemore will move up to second base, so very important because Rangers just 2 runs down now. Have a runner at second base with 1 out in the top of the order. Otis Nixon coming up. Reggie, I'm not asking you to take sides. I mean, you played for many, many years. You're with the Yankees now, so theoretically, I'm looking at Reggie Jackson. I don't see management written all over your face, but yet this 8-month hiatus, how do you feel? Were you sick to your stomach a little? Were you sad for the game that you'd loved? How were you during this 8 months? How do you sum up?
I was sad for the game, sad for the fans, sad for players, and sad for ownership. I mean, you take a hard look at it, Chris, and although I am management now, the owners had got themselves in a situation where there was no structure in the game salary-wise. Then it got to the point where the television money went away, and it was like, uh-oh, what have we done? They needed to roll back the clock. Players did not want to give up something that they have worked for so long. Why should we have a salary cap? No one ever went into anyone's office with a gun to their head and forced someone to sign. Now the owners had to unwind all of that, and it got to be nasty and ugly. Whose fault? Both sides' fault.
Pitch gets past Stanley, and now they'll allow McLemore to go to third. So all of a sudden, Wickman came in and closed down the 6th inning for Jimmy Key, but in the 7th inning is another story, Buck.
Well, you see the ball goes off the glove of Mike Stanley there. Good movement on that sinker ball, and that's always a concern. That ball is darting all over the place. Now that'll send McLemore over to third base with just 1 out.
That one will be foul as Stanley jumps on it. Reg, in this day and age, not all the teams have the same resources. Obviously, the Yankees have great financial resources, but isn't there a danger that you're going to have about 14 or 16 contenders every year, and then the other 10 or 12 teams could be like what I've called the Washington Generals, the basketball team that played the Harlem Globetrotters? I mean, that they're just there. Isn't that a big danger? I know that's not facing the Yankees, but they're in it with you. I mean, they're partners.
I think it's a very serious danger. I think you can already see signs of that. You can take a look at ball clubs that have not contended for such a long time. The team that jumps out in your mind, of course, is Milwaukee. Seattle jumps out in your mind. Then on the other hand, you take a look at Minnesota. You take a look at the Rangers scoring a run here as Otis Nixon grounds to second base, and now it's a 7-6 game. You take a look at Montreal, and you see that those ball clubs do not have large payrolls, yet they contended exceptionally well. You take a look at what happened in San Diego, where it looked like a junkyard sale, if you will, several years ago. But now they're picked by some people to win their division. So while it's the haves seemingly have it all, and you'd like to spread it around, you'd like to make it like football, where they do share a lot of the revenue, but you turn around and you see that some good execution from the administrative people can make it happen as well, and you can put a good team on the field and not spend the money.
It might take a little bit more effort and a little bit more work to investigate people, but I look back to the early days prior to free agency when the Yankees were the team, when they were dominant year in and year out. They had all the money, and I think there was a worse scenario back then when everybody else was really chasing the Yankees.
I agree with that, Buck. I would say that what happened to Montreal in the spring this year, when they got rid of Wetteland, Hill, Marquise Grissom, as well as Larry Walker, that was the first time I really felt that there needed to be a change. You don't really know who the owners are there. They're not out front promoting their name, so to speak. Lou is a great guy, so I did feel bad when that happened and felt a change or an adjustment needed to be made.
Jeff Fry grounds out. Play is made by Mattingly, and Reggie Jackson always a play. It's opening day. It's Yankee Stadium. It's Reggie Jackson. It's Joe DiMaggio. We feel at home here. Thanks for joining us.
For some reason, seeing you seems to make it official.
You've just made my year. We'll be back at Yankee Stadium. A nice visit, Buck, with Reggie Jackson. But then again, sitting next to Joe DiMaggio, he knew.
Yes, he did. Reggie's a huge fan of baseball and always has been. It's kind of ironic, huh? Reggie sitting here in Yankee Stadium eating Cracker Jacks?
Eating Cracker Jacks. It was no Reggie Barnes, it's Cracker Jacks. Attendance of 50,245. What did we say in the open? I pick about 50,000. That's what they've got. Good job here by the fans in New York. And you see those bleacher seats out there. Reggie just informed us that from May 1st to May 7th, that homestand, all those seats will be given away free. And if someone had bought tickets to the bleachers already to go to the game, they can just go to the booth and exchange, get their money back. And first come, first serve for the bleacher seats for the first week of May at all the Yankee games here. Mark McLemore, not that shaky in left field. He actually did a good job at the plate. And here's Madden with a lofting it to McLemore, who has a long run, but McLemore, who went in to pinch hit for Billy Hatcher, delivered the two-run single, stays in there, and makes the play. One of the many changes that you heard Reggie and all of us talk about, Jack McDowell here in Yankee pinstripes. Let me take a look at this. Wait a minute. NY. Am I seeing the right guy here?
It's a little different, isn't it? Still got, you know, a little different tint in the pinstripes, and yeah, it is strange. It's a good feeling, though. It's really, to have a fresh start is always a real nice feeling.
There was some concern about how he might react to not pitching opening day. And when Showalter addressed the Key situation, he said, hey, I'm just happy to be part of this great team. And Jimmy Key said, listen, if it's going to bother Jack McDowell, I'll start game 2. And they all worked it out. There is a lot of chemistry on this ball club. A lot of real professional baseball players that have one goal in mind. That's to win a World Series.
Well, Jack McDowell is not coming in here to rattle any cages. That is not his style. Wait till the Yankee fans get a load of the way he plays. I mean, he's an old-timer. Really had some tough things. He was not pitching well the first half of the year, although he says he pitched better than the record would show. He bulldogged his way back. He won the Cy Young a couple years ago. Was one of the point men for the development of the young Chicago White Sox team, and said, you know, it's kind of funny that they made the playoffs in '93, and now I'm not really there. As they're trying to take more steps. He really was the point man, along with Frank Thomas, who came up in '90, and some of the others on that staff. Rusty Greer backpedals in the sun and makes the catch on the fly ball by Mike Stanley. This is the way the Yankees stack up on the mound, Bob, their rotation.
Anytime you can pencil in number 1, number 2, and the names are Key and McDowell, you're in pretty good shape. A lot of people believe that Melito Perez, the number 3 starter, holds the key for a real dominant rotation. Put together a decent year last year, and they'd like him to take the next step and move up into the class of a Key and McDowell. Scott Kamenecki, Sterling Hitchcock round out the rotation. There's Melito. He'll go on game 3. And mentioned one thing, that the attitude in that Yankee clubhouse is that, hey, we haven't won a thing yet. We took the next step last year. We were leading division and felt real good about the way things were working out. But we've got to go out there and play a whole season and put it together and win, become a championship team.
Well, they led the division by 6.5 games when the strike occurred. .619 winning percentage. Next best record in the American League was .593, 67-46, which would have been 3 games behind the network by McDowell's old team, the Chicago White Sox. So Bernie Williams, who homered his last time up, is 1 for 3. The count is 1-1. Whiteside, the 4th Texas pitcher. Count is 2-1. Some great moments when Reggie played in here. This place was charged up.
World Series, 3 home runs against the Dodgers in '78. Reggie was made for New York.
Oh. That last one to dead center off Charlie Howe. Cell call. Everybody did. Williams draws a base on balls, and that'll bring up Tony Fernandez, who all he has done is his debut with the Yankees. Single, double, scored 2 runs. It's kind of a seesaw affair here. Yankees over by Tardival, make a 1-0. Texas ties it at 1-1, then 3 in the 3rd. 1 in the 4th by the Yankees, and they bust open to a 5-1 lead. And Texas 2 in the 6th to get in at a 5-3. The Yankees 2 in the bottom of the 6th to make it 7-3. But Texas with 3 in the top of the 7th Well, we were conversing with Reggie, and it's a 7-6 ball game. So as much as you think, you've been lulled to think that the Yankees have had this game in hand all the way, it's really not the case. And they could use a couple more runs, even though they have Howe and Wetteland in the bullpen.
I think you're going to see a few games like this in the early part of the season where both clubs go back and forth as the pitchers try to straighten things out. You heard Reggie Jackson talk about how the pitchers are going to be behind naturally because they haven't had the innings work that they're used to.
Little blooper, which Benji Gil fighting that all the way. Makes the play, and Fernandez and the Yankees are retired here in their 7th inning stretch inning. So we head to the 8th inning with the score here in New York. Yankees 7 and the Rangers 6 with the heart of the Rangers order. Top of the 8th inning here at Yankee Stadium and a crowd of 50,000. I've seen a couple of Yankee home runs. Seen Jimmy Key lead with a big lead, but now it's only 7-6. And now Buck Showalter, Billy Connors and company go to formula. Starter to Bob Wickman, to Steve Howe, and then maybe in the 9th, John Wetteland. But Steve Howe is on to pitch inning number 8, Buck.
See what he did last year in 40 games. Had a perfect 3-0 record with 15 saves, ERA under 2. Great compliment right here. You go to the left-hander in the 8th. Got the big, powerful right-hander in the 9th and John Wetteland. Steve Howe last year started bringing in a slow curveball. Gave him something a little more off speed. He's always been a hard fastball, hard slider type of pitcher. And now he gives the left-handed hitters like Clark something else to think about.
Now, Will Clark, who last time up had a 2-run single up the middle that was the last batter Jimmy Key faced. To get Texas back in this thing, and they've stayed in it since. Took it from a 5-1 to a 5-3 ball game. So mixed results on Bob Wickman, by the way. When he came in and got a double play ball right away, but allowed the 3 runs in the 7th inning. Will Clark, 1 for 3. Really thought that he would finish his career in San Francisco. I thought he would be one that would not have moved on, but like all clubs had to make dollars and cents decisions. Bonds, Williams, Clark, to pay them all. They couldn't pay them all.
Well, at that point, they had to decide between Clark and Robbie Thompson, and they opted to keep Robbie Thompson, who is back from a shoulder surgery and ready to go, anxious to get back to his 93 numbers. Giants trying to rebound a bit.
Strike 3. So Steve Howe freezes Will Clark. Good job opening up by Steve Howe.
Howe gets his fastball away from Clark, freezes him. He couldn't pull the trigger.
So 1 out here in the Texas 8th, and Mickey Tettleton up with Rodriguez on deck. If you're tuning in late, Juan Going Gonzalez is out for a couple of weeks. The normal cleanup hitter for the Rangers with the herniated disc problem. So we won't see his bat and potential 40 home run swing. Tettleton will normally be the number 5 hitter.
Evidently, they got a real positive report from the doctor. Gonzalez last made the visit this week. He is eligible to come off the list on the 1st of May, but I don't think they expect him back for a couple more weeks.
Tettleton rips it to left field for a base hit off Howe, and now the tying run is aboard. And Ivan Rodriguez comes to the plate.
Now Mickey Tettleton picks up his first base hit.
Rodriguez.
Let's put a ball in play to Gary Miller. I guess Gary elected to take that pitch, and we'll throw him another one in a minute. But Rodriguez skies it to Danny Tartabull, who makes the play now. Let's groove one over the plate to Gary.
Chris, I see it coming. MCI proof positive takes us to Kauffman Stadium. Kevin Apier working on a no-hitter. Hit a batter, pinch runner. Damon Buford is going to get tagged out on Brady Anderson's looping fly to Gagne. 6 strikeouts, no hits. Matching him with Messina. Back to you.
There's a pitcher that's ready.
Ooh, they're going Apier in Kansas City, are they not? Well, I mean, the 2 games we've had on ESPN, 8-7 and now 7-6, but Apier. So Gary will keep us posted of that one, no doubt, as Dean Palmer looks at ball 1. Palmer hit my pitch to start the 7th inning. He scored. The first of Texas's 3 runs. Dino was 0 for 2 thus far. Steve Howe, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Key pitch into the 6th. Wickman get all 3 outs in the 6th. Gave up 3 in the 7th. Now Howe is on. And down in the bullpen, I can see the hard-throwing John Wetteland warming up for perhaps his first appearance in Yankee pinstripes next inning. And there he is. Having a bit of a breather, but we saw him firing hard. Hope that he can do what Goose Gossage did back in the days of Reggie was here. Goose retiring just last week. What a great character, what a great player, one of the few who had over 300 saves. Goose and Reardon, two of the best relievers we've had, retire last week. Dean Palmer is aboard, and first Wickman and now Steve Howe getting themselves into a bit of a pickle. Looks like we'll have a pinch hitter for Rusty Greer, who has singled and doubled. The former Oakland A, Eric 20th Century Fox, has moved out into the on-deck circle and will hit now for Rusty Greer.
Well, the switch hitter Fox comes on. Bat from the right side. Last year he played 26 games for Oakland. Jerry Narron has several more options this year with Texas Rangers. Mark McLemore came on and got a pinch hit that drove in 2 to get the club back in the ball game, and now down by a run with 2 outs, he sends to the plate Eric Fox in a pinch hitting role.
Fox has hit for average at the AAA level. Hasn't hit much for average since he was playing for Tony La Russa. Has hit a couple of 300 seasons in Tacoma when he had 11 home runs. A good athlete, good fielder. And pinch runner Sean Hare, and you better be fast with the name Sean Hare, is the pinch runner for Templeton at second base. So the wheels are moving here in the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium. There's Hare. Hare and Fox are involved here in the 8th inning for Texas. So sound the trumpet. We're on the Rabbits and the Foxes are running here for the Texas Rangers, who are aptly dressed in red. And one is in there for a strike. Tony La Russa really liked him. The way he played hard all the time. As we said, at the plate has yet to put together in the majors what we've seen at AAA. Giuseppe Coastly. He's a big pickup by Texas. I like what he plays.
Well, they can do a lot of things because of his versatility. Both to the bat, play all the outfield positions, got pretty good speed. You know, years past, the Rangers haven't had the kind of depth that they look to have this year.
Now there's 2-1 to Eric Fox. 2 on, 2 out, 1-run lead for the Yankees. And Howe just missed down and away. And the count is 3-1. Mark McLemore, who delivered a 2-run single in a pinch hitting role last inning, is the on-deck batter. Hare and Palmer on second and first take the lead. And Fox holds off, and the bases are full of Rangers. Hare and Fox and Palmer all aboard And Mark McLemore will step up.
McLemore batting left-handed when he came on as a pinch hitter, singled through the right side of the infield. So I don't think Showalter wants to flip him around and bring Wetteland in right yet.
McLemore hits it to center field. Bernie Williams going back but has room. And McLemore flies out. Some anxious moments for Steve Howe and the Yankees, but they leave 3 Rangers aboard. They wriggle free and go to the bottom of the 8th with a 1-run lead. They have 3 singles and score a run. So Kelly, Boggs, and Leyritz here in a crowd of 50,000. They saw Danny Tartabull at a home run. You've seen Bernie Williams at a home run, but they've seen the scrappy Texas Rangers battle back. Jack McDowell, one of the new Yankees, obviously he'll pitch in game 2. We'll have to wait. It'll be a road game for them. We'll wait next turn or two to make his Yankee Stadium debut as a Yankee. Tony Fernandez is a nice debut as a Yankee. All in all, not a bad day at the yard here in Wednesday afternoon, New York City. Whiteside, the 4th Texas pitcher, continues to work. Rogers started, was going after 3, and Eric Fox will stay in right field. Batted for Greer, and they'll stay in right. Palmer in on the grass at 3rd, just in case Kelly decides to dump one down. Remember, Kelly dumped one down the first base line, which neither the pitcher nor the first baseman Will Clark could handle last time. So Kelly, one of the Yankees with some wheels. And the count is 1-2. If you're looking at the Texas 9th, it'll be 9-1-2, just as the Yankees have now. Gil, Nixon, and Fry with Will Clark to hit 4th. So that's what we're looking at, and probably we're also looking at John Wetteland. You'll note on Jerry Narron, and certainly we talk about great moments in Yankee history. This piece was not a great moment, but one of the most poignant ever in this stadium. The day after Thurman Munson on an off day, his plane crash, and he was killed on an off day Thursday as Kelly is struck out. The Yankees were home the next night in an emotion-packed evening in Jerry Narron. First time Kelly's been retired today.
Whiteside's been very effective since coming on with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Good slider here, catches the outside corner. Look at Rodriguez frame it up for Bill Deegan. Kelly's not so sure about that.
Wade Boggs, 1 for 3 thus far tonight. This afternoon, I'm going to give you a programming update here. The very important America's Cup Defender Series race is already underway on ESPN2. We will show it to you underway when this game gets over. It'll be on both networks. Boggs looks at a strike from Whiteside. The count is 2-1. Now the first wave of the year is going through the upper deck. That's what the crowd is doing, upper deck, and now it's spinning around now. Foul territory on the left field line. Did they forget how to do that too?
Yeah, they've been waiting a long time to do that. August 11th, the last game here at Yankee Stadium. It was an extra inning game. Blue Jays beat the Yankees 8-7. Everybody kind of felt, well, a couple of weeks, maybe 10, 15 days, we'll be back to playing again.
Wade Boggs with the 1 hit today. He's now 107 hits shy of the 2,500 mark. Has an RBI, a sac fly RBI as well. Pounds on off. Had a great at bat in the 3rd inning. Started off 0-2 against Kenny Rogers. Worked with the 3-2 and also fouled off 5 pitches. Got a base hit, which at the time put 2 on with none out. Both Kelly and Boggs later came around to score in that inning as Rogers had some control problems, a couple of walks. Ooh, and Boggs thought the pitch was way inside, didn't really give the full look to replacement umpire Bill Deegan. Whiteside got a big area of the strike zone, it appeared. Not a big pitch, huh?
Not a bad pitch at all. You're just not used to seeing Wade Boggs called out by regular American League umpires.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Bill Deegan said, hey, that's my strike zone, and I'm sticking with it.
Here's Whiteside has come in with a couple of punch-outs. Tell you, at times he can look very good. I've seen him look good in games that we've done. You know, at other times he's really struggled.
I think Dick Cosman has already had an impact on Whiteside. He's made an adjustment in his slider grip, and it looks as though the Yankees are having a tough time picking up the spin on the ball. He's always had the stuff.
There's a base hit for Jim Leyritz, his second of the afternoon. Leyritz 2 for 5.
First hit off Whiteside. Now Jerry Narron quickly out of the Rangers dugout, and he's going to call for the left-hander. Pretty good outing for Matt Whiteside here. Darren Oliver, the left-hander, has been throwing down in the bullpen. I'm sure he'll come on here to face Paul O'Neill.
So here comes the 5th Ranger pitcher of the afternoon, 7-6. The Yankees lead it by 1. We'll be back.
Barry Miller back in the studio, and we are versatile here at Baseball. We're bringing you live action from Stars and Stripes, trying to get in to the America's Cup. That's Dennis Conner in the foreground of your screen there. They're racing against Mighty Mary. The race is underway. As soon as our action is over on the baseball front with our afternoon game, we'll take you there for what could be the decisive race in this series that Dennis Conner is to win. Also in progress at Kauffman Stadium, Kevin Appier is pitching. You're looking at him live against the Orioles. Through 6, he's yet to allow a hit. We're not sure how he'll go this early in the season. We'll keep you posted as we go back to Yankee Stadium.
All right, Gary, thank you. And then that's true. I mean, can you, with a no-hitter, but yet early in the season, do you go the 9? I mean, you got to. You say that, but...
Well, Bob Boone is faced with a tough decision his first day as a skipper in Kansas City.
Certainly don't. This is Darren Oliver. That's right. This is Darren Oliver, who left-hander, who they Rangers think very highly of. Although you can see 35 walks in 50 innings. That's 50 Ks, 35 walks in 50 innings. You know he throws by seeing nothing. You know he throws hard, and you know he throws wide.
He normally throws hard. He's coming back from a off-season surgery to take some chips out. His strength is not there quite yet. Control not there either. Great scouting report, Chris.
Yeah, well, I don't need to even see him. He's 50 and 35 and 50 innings. I got it.
Trying to hump up on the fastball. The ball tails in on O'Neill.
But what do you do if you're Bob Boone? There's another inning, and
basically, I think he'll probably leave it in Apier's hands and make sure that he's not going to hurt himself.
Every time I think of pinch hitting or taking out a pitcher with a no-hitter, I mean, old Preston Gomez comes to mind with Clay Kirby. 8-inning no-hitter, down by a run, got a pinch hit for it. But this is obviously a different situation. O'Neill fouls it back. Count is 1-2.
Pretty good velocity on the fastball there. Had O'Neill back in the hitting zone. But Oliver has some more. He gets a few innings under his belt, and that arm gets to 100%. He'll have a little more pop on the fastball.
Oh, boy. That was almost behind him. O'Neill might have done better going to the plate.
That's the slider. You can see Rodriguez is down away. Oliver has it slip out of his hand, and O'Neill has to bail out quickly. He's ducked out of the way in time. That'll give you a few more miles an hour on your fastball, too. Effectively wild.
O'Neill fouls it back. The count remains at 2-2.
Watch Paul O'Neill. He's got that timing mechanism with that front foot. I don't think you'd teach that, but it certainly works for O'Neill.
Not quite. That misses that. Not quite the Haru stride, but that sort of look. Speaking of Haru, a couple players packed in the majors in this game today that we were playing in Japan last year. Mike Kairulo, player of the Yankees, he's going to Texas after spending a year in Japan. Leon Jennings this year. That ball, is it live? Well, it certainly looks like it as Leyritz goes all the way to third base. Wasn't sure whether it grazed O'Neill or not, but obviously it did not. That's a great heads-up play by Jim Leyritz, although Narin now will come out. I don't think he's questioning it. Everybody kind of just thought about ball four. Maybe it grazed him. A lot of room behind the plate, so the ball went all the way back, and Rodriguez just couldn't get on it.
Yeah, this ball just goes off Rodriguez's glove. You see, once again, Oliver struggling with his control. Goes off Pudge's glove all the way to the wall. And Leyritz, being a catcher himself, knows how far Rodriguez has to go to track it down. So he goes all the way from first to third. Heads-up base running by Jim Leyritz.
So Darren Oliver certainly did not impress. I would say that's the understatement of the season thus far. We'll be back.
Positive takes us to Kansas City. Cal Ripken in game 2010 consecutive can't solve Kevin Appier. He struck out 3 times. Appier was 7 Ks in the game, but that's pitch 98. He leaves with a no-hit, no-run game and a 2-0 lead. Rusty Meacham just came in, a spectacular catch at the wall as they get through the 7th. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Gary, well, Buck, there's the decision. I guess it's just no way you can go 9 at this point. I'm sure that Appier and Bob Boone are sick by that decision.
Yeah, I know that Bob Boone is obviously more concerned about the well-being of his pitcher than putting up a no-hitter opening day, so he's going to make the wise decision in my mind.
Roger McDowell now comes on. The 6th Texas pitcher, the well-traveled Roger McDowell. And he immediately gives up a base hit, and the Yankees get a very important insurance run. So Danny Tartabull, who started this, what's now an 8-run barrage with a homer in the 2nd of about 469 feet, now has about a 140-foot single, and it does the exact same thing. Each drives in a run, and the Yankees have a 2-run lead.
3 driven in on the day for Tartabull. You see, he fights it off. Really didn't hammer it, but it's down where he can put it in play. Base hit to center field. Good opening day for Danny Tartabull.
So Tartabull gets a seat, and I believe it's Gerald Williams will go into pinch run for Danny Tartabull, who's driven in a run with a homer, a run with a base-loaded walk, and a run with that single. And there's Gerald Williams. It's not exactly that he laid the lumber to McDowell's pitch, but the heads-up play by Leyritz allowed that run to score.
On ball 4, that wild pitch got away from Rodriguez, and Leyritz went all the way from first to third. Now comes in to score.
Mattingly is 0 for 4, the only Yankee regular who has not had a base hit today. Strike. I was set to call it inside. Mattingly was accepted to take the inside call, but umpire Bill Deegan saw it differently.
Roger McDowell has a lot of movement on his fastball, but Mattingly says it doesn't move that much. Pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Clark will handle it himself and will head to the 9th inning. And it looks like, I assume we're going to see John Wetteland in his Yankee debut with a 2-run lead. Stick around. a crowd of over 50,000 watching what they hope will be an opening day win by the Pinstripers. It hadn't been easy, but the Yankees have a 2-run lead, 8-6, and for his first appearance with the New York Yankees here at Yankee Stadium, the man they hope can save 30 to 35 games, John Teenage Wetteland.
25 saves last year for the Expos. This year he's been held back somewhat by back spasms suffered in spring training, but to a man, the Yankees are thrilled to have this guy coming out of the bullpen in the 9th inning. He has that Goose Gossage mentality. This game is mine, and I'll take care of it.
More strikeouts than innings pitched last year. Gerald Williams stays in the game and goes to left field. Paul O'Neill goes to his normal position at right field. And Chartable now out of the game. But you talked with Wetteland a couple hours before the game, and how did he describe his appearance here?
I asked him how he felt here playing with the Yankees now and about coming into Yankee Stadium and making an appearance. He said yesterday during the workout, he said, you know, there's so many emotions about this great place. He said, I didn't step on the field. I just kind of hopped onto it. He said, I just don't know how to describe it. I'm a big baseball fan, and this really means a lot, being able to play here in Yankee Stadium. As far as his teammates go, he said, hey, they like to work hard, and I love anybody that works hard at this game.
Well, we mentioned Pags. We get a mixed review here. They liked him here in New York. One of the more personable players, and last year played for the Cebu Lions, where he pulled 7 home runs. In Japan, where it is familiar number 13 for him. It's been lucky. Rulo, who a couple of years ago was a member of the 91 world champion Minnesota Twins. He's just a good, fun guy to be around. Glad to have him back over here playing ball. Oh, and he jacks it down the right field line, but it is just foul.
Now, when he came up with the Yankees, that's what they liked about him. He had that right field stroke.
Yes, this park was made for Pags. He pulled it right. He was a dead pull hitter like Nettles was. Didn't hit as many as Craig did, obviously, but Pags will foul that one. But there was the swing that for a couple of years here really made him a dangerous short porch hitter. That was way up and back. A great shot here, guys. Look at this. Pretty surrealistic, if you ask me. Late afternoon shadows. Who knows what evil lurks in the bat of Mike Pagliarulo. The shadows. Fastball hitter against fastball pitcher. Fists it to center field. Bernie Williams there. Oh, and he loses it in the sun and still makes the catch, albeit gingerly.
What a tremendous play by Bernie Williams, fighting that sun all the way, and watch how he stays with it. This is determination, trying to shade his eyes from the sun, looking right into the sun here, and look at the effort. Goes to his knees and makes a basket catch just before that ball hits the grass.
It was a John Stewart ball. He lost it in the sun, but still made the grab, and there is now 1 out. That'll bring the top of the order, Otis Nixon, who has 2 singles and a sacrifice today. Otis also with a pair of RBIs, one on the sacrifice, one on a ground out. Jeff Fry on deck. Will Clark would be 4th. By the way, after we are done, don't forget, brief visit with Gary Miller to get us updated on the no-hitter. Now the team combined no-hitter being pitched by the Royals. And then we'll go out to the America's Cup race. We'll pick that up live for you. 7:30, Coors Field. Be there, aloha. John and Joe watch the regular season debut of Rockies' new ballpark as they host the Mets. 10:30 Eastern time tonight. The Astros at the Padres. 3 baseball game, America's Cup. I think we got you covered today. It's only Wednesday, you know. Not bad for a weekdays. Skied by Otis Nixon. Will Gerald Williams have room? No. The count is 0-2. John Wetteland trying to get his first appearance, have it become the first save. Yankee fans will be seeing him lots this year, Buck.
When he gets up to speed, he can throw it 97 miles an hour with a great curveball. Right now, that fastball's been clocked at 92. So he's got a ways to go yet before he's 100%.
Gets Nixon to just get a piece of it and stay alive. Stanley couldn't hold on. It was 93, we are informed.
Any club that has gone to the World Series and become a world's champion has always had a closer, a dominant closer. Gossage, Reardon, Eckersley, of course, Wayne Ward for the Blue Jays.
Guys with the Reds that year, which the Yankees, of course, hope that maybe, and I can't say off day one, Wickman and Howe struggled. I would not compare them certainly in velocity to Charlton and Dibble and Myers. Wetteland you could, but three guys lined up in the bullpen. That's kind of the blueprint that they hope will happen here. Nixon kind of chops us. It's going to be trouble with his speed. Stanley throws, just gets him. Boy, what a nice play by Mike Stanley behind the plate. He earlier threw out Otis Nixon trying to steal in this game, and this time he just tips him by a half step.
Very good play by Stanley. You know, it takes you a while to get going back there. When you call for a curveball, you're thinking about the ball being in the dirt, and then the swinging bunt in front of home plate. So he's got to come out of the chute. Everybody knows how quick Otis Nixon is. Stanley, with a strong arm, makes a very accurate throw to get Nixon by a full stride.
Now the fans on their feet. 1 out to go. Jeff Fry is up and looks at strike one from John Wetteland. Fry is 1 for 4. With a double in the 6th inning, later scored a run. Remember America's Cup coming up right after? Now, Buck Martinez, this has been a good start. It's been fun to see you. I hope the fans have enjoyed it. We've seen a little bit of everything in this ball game.
Boy, it's been great to have baseball back. Jimmy Key, pitcher of record right now. That would be 3 consecutive opening day wins for Jimmy Key if John Wetteland can wrap it up. That would tie Mel Stottlemyre going back to the 74 season when the Astros pitching coach won 3 straight opening days. Key would move to 6-0 on opening day.
Mr. April. We had a visit from Mr. October. We had a visit from 50,000 fans and 14 runs, 24 hits. Ball 3 to Jeffrey. I remember Will Clark is on deck here. So this is not a situation that Buck Showalter and John Wetteland want to get to, a base runner for Clark to step up. Not that he has the power that perhaps he once did, but certainly the day the ball's traveling pretty well to the outfield, he could certainly go deep, or at least have an extra base hit. But that may be a moot point. Full count, fans on their feet. People just told you what happened, and 50,000 people told you, welcome back to an old friend, Major League Baseball. The Yankees beat the Rangers 8-6 for Buck Martinez and all of us here at Yankee Stadium. I'm Chris Berman. Hello again. Now to Gary Miller.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. A thrilling game to get us started. Remember, we've got a triple header, and we're about to take you out to San Diego, where the America's Cup is in progress. Dennis Conner trying to lock down the Defender Series and make it into the finals. He's going up against Mighty Mary. But the other big story going on this afternoon on the full opening day is in Kansas City. Kevin Apier left the game after 6 2/3. He's got a no-hitter. Now it's up to Rusty Meacham. If it's still a no-hitter in the 9th inning, when the Orioles come to bat, we'll take you back there live. But right now, it's time to go out to San Diego, where Dennis Conner is trying to lock down the America's Cup in Stars and Stripes. Let's go out to Jim Kelly.